The Senate President Godswill Akpabio and youth leaders across the Niger Delta have declared the region a protest-free zone. Now, Akpabio also launched an internship scheme initiated by the Niger Delta Development Commission for 10,000 youths of the Niger Delta region. Now, Akpabio and the leaders spoke during the NDDC Executive Management engagement with Niger Delta ethnic nationalities and selected stakeholders in Port Harcourt. The Senate President declared that the proposed nationwide protest by some youths would not take place in the 9 states of the Niger Delta. He gave details of the youth internship scheme. Akpabio said that the 10,000 youths would be engaged in the program designed to improve their skills, noting that the beneficiaries in the first phase would be paid 50,000 naira monthly. Akpabio insisted that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was committed to development of the Niger Delta region. He noted that following the presidential directive, the NDDC recently inaugurated 5 flagship projects. We'll come to this, please. Let's just stop there now. We'll come back to that particular spot. But we're seeing that this story is talking about 3 different things. The first thing that was mentioned was the protest and the fact that Akpabio, the Senate President, has said that in the Niger Delta, in all the states in the Niger Delta, there will be no protest. I saw that video, and in his words, he said, while the people who want to protest are protesting, we will be eating. You know, so that was actually his statement. He also got to talk about the 50,000 naira that will be paid to 10,000 Niger Delta youths monthly now, not just once, as a compensation to what's going on, whatever. So let's first of all get your thoughts on the statement from the Senate President about there being no protest in the Niger Delta.
With due respect to our amiable and very eloquent Senate President, Chief Dr. Godswill Akpabio, I think the Nigeria Constitution gives rights to individuals, groups of people, to participate in a peaceful demonstrations. And I don't think as of yesterday, there has been an amendment of that chapter 4 of our Constitution, section 40, talks about that freedom of lawful assembly. So, saying that there won't be any protest, and at the same time, there will be protests while some will be eating. Okay? The same, you are saying that there won't be protest, and you are also encouraging those that shouldn't participate that there is enough food for them. And I want to ask, President Tinubu recently signed into law the minimum wage of 70,000 naira. And you are telling Niger Delta youths that you are paying them 50,000 naira. What is the balance? Either you call it a dash, or you call it a stipend, or you call it grant or anything. It shouldn't be less than 70,000. That is where I was watching, there were youths clapping hands.
Yes.
When you have been deprived from employment, you have been deprived from gaining any meaningful skills. And those that have been trained, I don't see any starter pack being given to them. You still fall back to where you was before you embark on those training. If you want to engage our youth, you engage them meaningfully.
What is your definition of meaningful engagement?
We train me and you don't have where I am doing anything. Did you engage me in anything? I still fall back to the community. I acquire skill, maybe I took the skill of how to repair any heavy duty machine. There is no industry in my community where I may be locally engaged to carry out those things that have been taught. I went back for training in any of the states in the Niger Delta. At the end of the day, I'm back in my community doing nothing. There's no proper negotiation with any companies that we have 5,000 youths we are training. Please engage this set of youth for us because they are from Niger Delta and you operate within Niger Delta. I don't think there will be any company that will reject such offer. We have trained them. They are experts. They are there to add value. In short, company employ you and train you and pay money to train you to fit in that particular jobs. Apart from the on-job training that you may acquire, it is in the Factory Act. It is lawful for every employer to train their staffs to compete with other clients, because if we are living in a competitive economy. So if you don't train your personnel to compete with other clients, you'll be lost, you'll be pushed out of business.
Haven't we had schemes like that where Niger Delta youths were being trained? Have we not had schemes like that?
These are scam
When
training.
we also look at the amnesty scheme now, or whatever I would want to call that, I know that a lot of youths were being trained in different aspects. Some of them were even sent out of the country.
Good.
Some of them were sent to different universities here in Nigeria.
Good. These are laudable ideas by the federal government. How to handle restiveness, how to handle youth unemployment. Many have benefited. Many have benefited. Many are engaged. But you don't capitalize on the past glory of the previous administrations. You know, the initiative of taking care of Niger Delta actually came during Yar'Adua administrations. And it was laudable for him to achieve that amnesty program, which is still ongoing currently now. What I'm saying is that if you engage anybody, if you train anybody, ensure you monitor to the point of engaging that person. If you train me and you don't engage me, should I force myself and get something? You know that if I be trained, I should get something. And you don't want to facilitate the process of me getting something, except very few that are lucky. Okay? Provide information where there are job vacancies to these people you train. Let them apply by themselves and compete with other people. Okay,
so for these 10,000 youths that will be given 50,000 naira monthly, how effective do you think this initiative would be?
They just want to enrich themselves.
Because when it was mentioned and the event, people are beginning to feel like, okay, probably because they don't want the Niger Delta youth to protest, because he has stated that this is going to be a protest-free zone. So because they don't want the Niger Delta youth to protest, probably that's why they're saying, we'll give you 50,000 naira monthly. Can you not protest?
If they start paying that money this morning, for me, I will be happy that at least some youth have started benefiting from the national cake. Okay? If they can pay this morning, this early morning, even tomorrow, even next tomorrow, if they can pay, fine. It is our money. No matter name they want to call it, it is Niger Delta.
Is it going to stop the youth from protesting?
Protest is the right of every Nigerian.
Because saying this is going to be a protest. This is not the first time zone.
During the Obasanjo regime. There was a protest. In 2000, there was a protest against the increase in fuel price. There is no government that have escaped protests in Nigeria. Since 1999 to date, there is no government. Yar'Adua faced his own protests. Anti-corruption protests. He faced it. Goodluck Jonathan, removal of fuel subsidy. He faced it. Oh, don't remove subsidy. That was a massive protest. We were all in this country and we experienced it. We are not talking about violent protests that we went ahead and be destroying houses.
Is this enough to stop the youths from protesting? The monthly, the 50,000 naira monthly, is it enough
to
stop the youths from protesting?
Can you know how many numbers of youth we have in Niger Delta? And you think maybe they have a list of those that they felt that we protest. And protest can be done in any form. So if you are paying those you think they may come violently to protest, and those that will come peacefully to protest are not being paid, and the protest still go ahead, have you achieved your aim of stopping them not to protest? No. Why not involve every stakeholders in the meeting, in the summit that was held yesterday, and discuss the way forward? Hear from the youth that are protesting.
Is it possible to involve every stakeholder in the Niger Delta?
Why?
Because it was stated that some stakeholders in Niger Delta were involved in that meeting.
I saw those that were there yesterday. The same people that were in another summit. I hardly see how many leaders that talks about the Ogoni representations in that summit, that yesterday meeting. I hardly see. maybe I didn't follow it up, or maybe I did not have access to the list of invitees, okay? Because I hardly see maybe a traditional ruler invited from the Ogoni axis, or a youth leader from the Ogoni axis. Don't forget, we come from different ethnic nationality in the Niger Delta. With due respect to our Ijaw people, they were heavily represented by their leaders and other people. Talks on their behalf. I believe Niger Delta youth are very listening kind of youth. If the leader say don't do this, they will listen.
So that means you see this being effective and the Niger Delta is not protesting actually.
Why would they protest?
Well, you just said they are very obedient to their leaders.
One part of the youth, if you invite you leaders from Ogoni axis, from the Ikwere, I'm talking of River State. If you invite leaders, you know their leaders and identify with these leaders from all these ethnic nationalities in the Niger Delta. That hall will be still, that will be spacious to accommodate them. There is enough space to accommodate these youths. Involve them. How many, apart from Michael Briggs that spoke on behalf of the women, how many vibrant young lady that talks about the youths of Niger Delta? And we are talking about inclusiveness. We are talking about gender equality. How many youth, how many female youth activists that was allowed to talk and talks about the importance of youth, female youth, being involved in protests?
Do you think that meeting was to hear from the people and, you know, hear the plight of the people? Or was it just to make an announcement that no youth in Niger Delta are going to protest?
Don't you hear the statement? Don't you hear the speech of Alhaji Asari Dokubo? He said that the 10 demands from the Nigerian youths excluded the demands of the Niger Deltas. So what are the demands of the Niger Deltas that we don't know? That the 10 demands completely removed the demands of the Niger Deltas. So for me...
So you see the protest not being beneficial to the Niger Delta people?
That is what he said. That is his statement. And I quote, he said so, that he is not going to be part of the protest because Tinubu is our brother from the south. And since he's our brother from the south, when Jonathan was there as our brother from the south, there was a protest against him. Okay? That when Yaradua, when the immediate past president, Muhammadu Buhari was there was no protest. There was a protest. And sad, it was a protest during the Buhari regime. It wasn't ethnic, there was no ethnic correlations. Hunger did not have tribe, did not have respect. If you are from the south, you are hungry. If you are from the north, you are hungry. And they say, end bad government. This bad government affects everybody. Everybody. So, since the protest is the right of Nigerians, if our leaders are saying that that right has been removed from the constitutions, fine and good. I'm not going to protest. I am not going to carry plaque out. I'm not going to encourage anyone not to protest, not to protest. But hunger affects every communities. If you go to my community yesterday, my community, my farm they stole my cassava in my farm, looted everything away in my community because people are hungry. Even the person that saw the person that was in the farm refused to tell me that if I tell you are going to arrest that person, and the person is hungry.
The palliatives that were stolen from Godswill, that's also in Niger Delta, so it's part of it. Yes,
now what we are saying is that
we're saying the same thing.
What we are saying is that if there's constant palliatives to alleviate the suffering of the people, it's noble ideas of the federal government. And I'm understanding the wife of the president because it's coming from his office. She has a motherly heart. She has a good heart. And she has listened to the plight of the people. And she felt that, no, this is the way we can come in. If all the state governors consolidate on it, come down to the local governments, all this money you'll be talking about, security vote of the local government, convert this into helping the people. Because I think the state of insecurity in some of our local government and some state in the Niger Delta have reduced. Convert it in helping the people. Use it to help the people. it will consolidate on the plan of the federal government. And that it will be laudable for me. So I am not against the protest. I am not supporting the protest.
We know that everybody is affected from your statement and from different statements. Even if no matter the class you are, you know that something is different in Nigeria. Something is different. Let's put it that way. So saying that if the Niger Delta youths do not join the protest, how do you think this is going to affect us as a people?
If the Niger Delta youth did not join the protest?
Yes. They exempt themselves from the protest, like it has been stated that the Niger Delta youths are not going to participate in the protest.
Okay.
How do you see this affecting the region?
For me, since the protesters are still, they remain faceless. Okay? They remain faceless. No group have claimed responsible for planning this. So I don't see in any way it's going to affect the region. If actually let's say they boycott the protest, that they are not going to participate in the protest because of the intervention of the Senate President and some critical stakeholders in the Niger Delta, and they have listened to them and they believe in their leadership, and they listen keenly to them by their word, and there is plan on ground to implement what they promised the Niger Delta youth.
Talking about the promise to the Niger Delta youth and the implementation, do you see this 50,000 naira monthly that has been promised us being a way to keep us away from the protest, like stop us from protesting? Or do you just see this being something that the government saw that the youth needed and decided to do?
Like you have to quote from the statement of our Honorable Senate President. He's saying that there's a plan for you. Don't go and protest. We have planned for you to give you 50,000 naira monthly. Is
this enough? Should this be enough to stop us from protesting against the ills that the people are talking about?
He's a lawmaker. He's a lawmaker, and he knows it's the right of Nigerians to protest until that clause is being removed from Chapter 4 and Section 40.
Should 50,000 naira be enough to stop Niger Delta youths from speaking against
what is 50,000 naira when Nigerians are talking about minimum wage of 70,000 naira? And why will you pay me 50,000 naira when I'm not doing anything? Is that not corruption? I'm not doing anything, I don't work, and you are encouraging laziness in this country. Tomorrow when you don't pay again, they come out with another agitator names. That, oh, we were paid, we are not paying again. Are you not also planning another future protest? When these people will be deprived from payment, you engage 10 persons, for instance, 10,000 youth, 50,000. You pay them for 20 months, or you pay them for 10 months, you pay them for 2 months. Maybe you cannot continue again. Don't you think they will protest? This kind of empowerment for people that doesn't work, I don't see it as a good steps. I don't see it as a good step for government to encourage Niger Delta youth. I'm here, I don't work. You pay me 50,000 because you feel like if you are paying me 50,000, I won't talk. My fundamental human right will be removed from me. You are closing my mouth, 50,000. Can 50,000 close anybody's mouth this time?
So you actually also see this as a scheme to close, like you said,
he has mentioned it, yes,
of the youth.
Of course, he has mentioned it.
That was exactly why I asked you how you think this will affect us at the end of the day.
He has mentioned it.
Because if our lips are actually shut because of 50,000 naira, after that, what happens? How sustainable is it going to be? Even the 50,000 naira that shut people's mouth. How sustainable is it going to be?
Where are they deriving the money from? From the NDDC. It talks about borrowing, that they borrow so trillions of naira. You divert the money that was meant to development of the Niger Delta. And I show more respect Akio Briggs yesterday. She talks about, stop saying intervention. You don't need intervention in the Niger Delta. Build the Niger Delta for us. Why you be using our money that intervention? If you want to do road, they say you are intervening in the road. Why not construct a road that will be sustainable for the people? Why not build school that will be sustainable for the people? Why not talk about hospital? If the people in the riverine area, they don't have floating hospitals. Before you take somebody from Kola to Port Harcourt, maybe a pregnant woman from Kola to Port Harcourt, that you are on speedboat for about 2 hours on the sea There is no provision whatsoever to we have mobile flow stations at the riverine areas. You used to see a mobile flow station where you can stop and get fuel or any diesel, mobile, floating mobile station. Why can't our Niger Delta NDDC think deep and provide a floating hospital that will be very closer to the people at the riverine area? We are talking about hospital. I come from the Ogoni axis. Before you can access UPTH or BMH from Kwawa community where I come from, it will take you time because of the Akpabio Express Road. And every day we have people that media couldn't get access to them, that are passing through pains. Family have lost a lot of lives. Let our NDDC talks about developing. They have what we call NDDC Master Plan, Developmental Plan of the Niger Delta. Let them start implementing this. If you start implementing this, you won't be talking about 50,000.
What do the Niger Delta youth really want? Because sometimes you hear schemes like this and you hear statements like this and people are already thinking, because from the response yesterday, from the response from that meeting, we're hearing applauds and all of that. And on social media, we're seeing that a lot of people are applauding this particular statement of 50,000 naira monthly, which you now have agreed in your thoughts that it might be a way to shut the people up, and saying that they're not protesting, this is a way to shut them up, like you have mentioned earlier. So one would ask, what the people really need? Is it that we need money? Do the Niger Delta just need money, or do they really want what they have been clamoring for their environment to be for the remediation of the environment? Do they really need these schools they're talking about and all of at least the basic amenities? Because even when we talk about activists in the Niger Delta, sometimes when we look at communities like the Ogoni, when we talk about that the cleanup now, when we talk about other communities, you hear people saying things, almost scholarships that these IOCs are supposed to give. You hear that it's been siphoned. You hear people saying, oh, the youths were giving money and then they kept quiet. So what do the Niger Delta youths really want?
I think this question, government have answered it severally. From the Yaradua time.
Is it the government that will tell us what the Niger Delta youth wants?
What Niger Delta youth wants is all over. Government knows what the Niger Delta youth wants. Niger Delta youth will keep emphasizing on what they want. It depends on their approach to answer these questions. If you are talking about youth restiveness and you create opportunities for where you engage the youth of Niger Delta, you have answered 1% of the need of the Niger Delta people. 1%. You know, as fathers, you allow your children to tell you their needs and you identify areas that you can come in and solve problems. You cannot provide all what your children need. You advise and guide. The federal government knows that the IOCs that are operating from the Niger Delta doesn't have their headquarters in Niger Delta. If they have their headquarters in Niger Delta, so many of our youth will be engaged. Okay? The Niger Delta people knows that the oil has been taken out from the Niger Delta. The 13% derivations that it talks about end in the hands of governments, ends in the hands of governors, end in the hands of those that are in government. The 13% derivation that government are paying to the 9 Niger Delta states, Niger Delta people want to see the evidence of that money. The money that is meant for the NDDC, Niger Delta youth want to see how those money have been implemented. Not few cabal and the youth activists that you give the ascent jobs, you give few solar lights contracts.
How successful do you think this 50,000 naira will shut the lips of the Niger Delta people?
That is, for me, I don't believe in this 50,000 naira. It is not what the Niger Delta youth wants.
But will they respond to it?
The 50,000?
Yes, and then do not
how possible are they collecting the names of this? The names of this?
If this works out, do you see Niger Delta youth relenting in the protests?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because like I have said, like Fanan has said, like some legal luminaries have explained, that the right to protest is enshrined in our constitutions. And you are saying that don't protest, fine, you give me 50,000, I should stay at home and eat. Let him pay the money. Now, is it not our money?
If he pays the money, are we going to actually stay at
No,
home?
let him pay the money first.
If he does.
Let him pay first.
Chief, if he does.
That he will stay at home.
We stay at home as Niger Delta is.
If we are going to create another protest, because those that did not benefit will be angry.
Oh, okay.
That, you pay these people because, okay, he's going to create another anti-protest in a protest. It is going to be dangerous.
Okay.
You shouldn't have mentioned money. For me, if you are talking to your people, you are a father in this region. The youth respect you based on your positions. So if you are talking to the youth from the Niger Delta, don't be seeing them as hungry people. That if I just put a bait on anything, they will eat. Talk to them like fathers and be reasonable beyond 50,000 naira. This youth you are talking about have families. This youth you are talking about have children in the higher institution. This youth you are talking about have, they are not engaged in any way. They are not doing anything. And you think 50,000 naira can shut their mouth? 50,000 naira is not enough. Even the federal government that just implemented 70, why not talking about 200,000 for instance? They assume you are giving each youth 200,000, which cannot even last for a month. If you want to rely on that. It cannot even last in a month. So if you are paying 50,000, do you know our cost of transportations? What if those that are sponsoring this protest pay 300,000 to those that will participate in the protest? Do you think that your 50,000 can go anyway? If those that are sponsoring this protest can say, okay, Senate President say 50,000. Okay, we offer you 150,000. Come out and protest. And people are hungry. And people are protesting because they are hungry. Now they have seen an higher offer. Come out and protest. We give you 100,000 and forget about the 50,000 naira. You will see people in every community mobilizing people. 100,000 against 50,000 is involved. You are also fueling the protest to be more stronger. You are fueling the protest to the protesters to think in another dimension. How to vent their anger, how to vent their voices. Oh, you want to pay 50,000 naira.
Right. Thank you so much for your thoughts. And I wonder what you actually think should have been the steps instead of taking
dialogue with these people. Talk sense into the youths, like we are doing voluntarily as traditional rulers. Because this protest is going to affect communities. If they go the other way around, they are going to. If they go in another way around, houses is going to be burned. If that houses belong to communities people, we'll own, either you are from my community, any property that is in my community, I own responsibility of those properties. So we are not a support of any violent protest. But since the protest, it is the right of Nigerians to protest. How could you stop them?
All right, let's look at the next story now.